Hello everybody and welcome back to the Dragon's Library. So today, we are going to be going over the Dragon Prince Season 5. Now, when I last reviewed the Dragon Prince Season 4 last year, for those of you who don't know, the Dragon Prince is a really good animated series on Netflix. Well, mostly good. First few seasons were really good. And it is by some of the creators who worked on Avatar The Last Airbender. Which means it's sort of a spiritual successor. It has a lot of the same themes and the same general vibe, if that makes sense. It even includes Sokka or the voice actor who played Sokka as a new character, Callum. Now, I'm not going to go over the whole plot of the Dragon Prince. If you want that, you can just watch the trailer to get the premise. Basically, it's a magical world. There are elves and humans at war. Dragon Prince got murdered, but he didn't. But then the egg got brought back, and now we're in the time skip phase, so none of that really matters at this point. Essentially, though, in the last season, Erebos, the manipulator / ancient Star Touched elf who is manipulating Viren, is pushing both Viren and Claudia after their defeat to go free him from his prison. He showed Claudia how to resurrect Viren, but the spell is only temporary, lasting 30 days. After those 30 days wear off, if he hasn't freed Erebos, Claudia's father will die. Meanwhile, Callum and Rayla are dealing with their differences. Ezran is trying to basically make peace with the dragons. Janai and General Amaya are together trying to work with the Sun Elves after Viren destroyed their home. And a bunch of other stuff is going on. So there's a lot going on this season. And that's kind of where I need to make my first critique. Now, when I first reviewed the Dragon Prince Season 4, I had kind of been waiting for it a lot. I was very excited, and I reviewed it almost as soon as I was done watching it. And I don't think I gave it a fully fair review. I was a little too positive and willing to overlook its flaws, having rewatched it a few times now. I would probably say Season 4 is easily the weakest of all the Dragon Prince's seasons, at times even being a little bad. Season 5 did correct most of the mistakes. The character writing is a bit better, and I actually really liked a lot of the ideas behind this season, particularly what they did with Viren and Callum. But there are so many secondary plots going on all the time. So the kids are split up. So you have Ezran, Soren, and a few other people with the Dragon Queen. You have Claudia and Viren. You have Janai and General Amaya. You have Janai's brother who gets exiled and goes on a quest for revenge. You have Callum and Rayla who go off together and do their own thing for a while before meeting back up with Ezran. And it's just, when an episode is going on, and it's constantly cutting between like 4 different perspectives throughout a single episode, it feels like none of the individual pieces get enough time to breathe. I think it would have worked a lot better if they had isolated like 2 to 3 groups at any one time. So like you could have, flashing between Janai's brother, and maybe Viren for like a villain episode to focus on them. I think that could have worked. But instead they try to have all these plots running simultaneously throughout every single episode, and it just comes across as really overbusy. That's the best way I can describe it. Now, it doesn't mean this season is bad. In fact, I'm going to have some spoilers here because I can't talk about this without spoilers, but the best part of the season, by far, is what they did with Viren. Now, for those of you who haven't watched the show, Viren was a dark mage. Dark mages use the magic and life force of magical animals to cast spells. It is considered evil and vile by the elves and dragons, and the reason why humans were banished to the magicless side of the continent. Now, Viren in the first season starts out as an advisor to the king, the court mage, and after Harrow's death, he kind of gets obsessed and annoyed that people won't essentially let him solve the problem with dark magic. It leads to him secretly assassinating, or at least injuring, the leaders of the other human nations in a bid to go to war with Zadia. He also stole the egg of the Dragon Prince and told Harrow he had killed it, which sparked the whole assassination thing to begin with. So Viren has been very much the villain for the first 3 seasons. He was manipulated by Erebos while desperate after doing some really questionable things. And Erebos essentially guided him to the assassination plot, to raising an army, and to marching into Zadia, corrupting the Sun Elves' home, and all this other stuff. At the end of Season 3, though, Erebos kind of yoinked off and let Viren fall to his death. But he wasn't quite done yet, so he had his little worm thing seek out Claudia and cast a spell of resurrection. Now, in Season 4, it was revealed that Viren will only be back for 30 days unless Erebos gives him the second half of the spell. And in the fourth season, Viren actually had a few moments where he was kind of regretting what he had done and wondering why the hell they're continuing on this Doom quest when it seems the world doesn't even want him to be there to do this. And he even suggests to Claudia that maybe he can just go off with her, and he's old, he can just live out his last month with her and be happy with her. And Claudia is the one who can't lose anyone anymore. She's convinced, because he's always told her, that dark magic is the only solution. It's always the solution. It can fix anything. And Claudia already has been issues with Soren living left behind, and her mother leaving her father in a divorce and breaking up her family, so she can't lose Viren. She's obsessed with it. Now, Viren had to use dark magic briefly for the first time since his resurrection. It's revealed that he got fully cleansed by the resurrection, so a dark mage, when they first use dark magic, goes into almost like a comatose state. So in this season, he has like the vision thing that Callum did when he used dark magic the one time while trying to connect to the Sky Arcanum from like season 2. And Viren essentially comes face to face with every one of the fucking problems he's had this whole season. Not listening to Claudia, continuing to push past in search of knowledge and power past the point it makes sense or is wise to. And he suddenly realizes in that vision, like, it's not Harrow's death or his own degraded state or Eros manipulating and basically owning him at this point that snaps him out of it. It's this really cool scene where he's walking through the ocean trying to get something, and he stops because he's suddenly realizing, holy shit, I will lose everything if I keep going. But then Dream Claudia, keeps walking, and he sees a wave about to swallow her, and he's like, holy shit, this is what I taught her. I taught her to push recklessly into dark magic, literally giving up pieces of herself. In order to heal her brother, Claudia literally like ate away at part of her life force and turned part of her hair like shock white. And Viren suddenly realizing she learned that reckless, self-destructive behavior that's going to get her killed one day from Viren. And so the final straw comes when Erebos reveals that the worm thing homunculus used Viren's blood because the spell needed to kill one of Viren's kids. Now this is the kind of clever dark magic solution that Viren loves, or at least loved in the first series, you know? Like when Erebos says, oh, you need to kill your child to fully resurrect. And Viren was like, oh, what the hell, no. Because he did this mostly for his children, for Claudia, and to a lesser extent Soren. And for the human nation as a whole. But Erebos actually revealed that he created a loophole. Viren loves those. The homunculus is this mindless little servant thing. Just kill that. It's technically a child of yours, and you get to come back to life. It wasn't even real to begin with. And Viren's just standing there, in the position that Harrow was in the first thing, where imminent death is approaching, and there's a clever dark magic solution. Viren, at the beginning of the series, offered this two-headed soul-eating snake that he could use to swap the Viren's consciousness and soul with a soldier who could die in his place. And Viren is now being consented with exactly that kind of deal. Some innocent life dies using a dark magic ritual through a loophole so that someone more important can live. And he says no. I warned you there were going to be spoilers. Viren, while Claudia is fighting, realizes that he has been a horrible influence on her, and Erebos has been using him this whole time. He finally comes to terms with the fact that he made some really, really shitty decisions. The thing everyone had been screaming at him since he raised a freaking army in season 2 and 3. And he walks away. He goes away. It's his last day, so he lays down, looks at the starry sky, is like, I will not be alive in the morning. And it's not even like a statement, like saying it to himself, even it's a statement of fact. He will not do this. He will not go down that path again. And so he doesn't. And it's actually really good to see. I freaking love the whole arc they had for Viren this season. Is really good. The other characters are doing a little bit of weird stuff. Rayla has a weird thing with the coin. Her parents and the coin I think is dumb. She should have just told Callum. I don't really understand. It felt out of character for her. Ezran and Callum are mostly cool. I like what they're doing with Callum. I'm just not sure if it's going to pay off in the right way. Because they had... I'm not going to tell you what happened exactly. But Callum slipped back into an old habit. And I'm not sure what the full implications there are. So I'm interested to see where they go. But I'm not sure exactly where they're going quite yet. So we'll have to see with that. As for the rest, Erebos is, of course, an amazing voice actor behind him. So he's great. All the scenes with him are very menacing. I liked the other dragon, archdragon we got to see, which was the water or ocean archdragon. And I enjoyed the weird pirate ship detour near the end of the season. That was fun. So all in all, yeah, it was a pretty good season. It's not as good as Season 3. Season 3 is still the best season of Dragon Prince. I'd say this is like a 9 out of 10. And in retrospect, I'd probably have given Book 4 like a 7 out of 10. Don't get me wrong, Book 5 is definitely a step upward. It's just not the sheer perfection I felt like we were reaching in Season 3. And this does kind of feel like a downgrade. So, yeah. Moving on from there, we have the announcements. So, I am just getting around to reviewing this and putting this out there. I'm not sure when this review is going to go live, recording all the audio in advance. But I am also going to be reviewing another movie soon. It's going to be this Dracula movie. I'll probably have it on screen. Maybe not. We'll see. And that one looks fun. Apparently, it's basically what happened to the crew, the mysterious ship that rode up to Britain empty when... in the original books, there was this small sailing vessel that showed up empty at the docks because Dracula had essentially hijacked it and killed everyone on board slowly but surely after driving them to madness. So that will be interesting. And I am playing Baldur's Gate 3, streaming that at 7:30 on both Tuesdays and Thursdays. Not sure how long I'll be streaming it, but I will be streaming that for the foreseeable future. I should have a review for Dave the Diver. I'm going to try and finish that in my spare time. Well, spare time? Like I have any of that. And I will hopefully have a review up for that soon. And now we have the end card. There should be the subscribe board. Click on it, go to my channel to subscribe. There's a video YouTube recommends, and there's also the playlist of all the reviews I've done for this year. Check all those out, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.